Hello, Helen here. Welcome back to my channel. Today's card's going to be quite a simple one. It's going to just have some stamping down the left and right side that's not going to be coloured, and then it's just going to have a centre panel that's got a coloured version of the same stamping just as for a pop of colour. So for the stamping I'm going to be using the Misti stamp positioner today, and I'm going to just try and do as many of the stamp flowers as I can in one go. So I'm going to lay several of the bigger stamps out of the garden poppy set down the right side and fill in some little gaps with some leaves, and then I'll stamp it with black ink, and then I'll repeat the same for the left side. I'm not going to emboss it in this time, just doing the stamping only. I'm using Momento Tuxedo black ink to do the stamping because that's what I'm going to do with the flower that I'm going to colour with some alcohol inks for my centre panel. So I'm going to just use the same ink for the rest of the stamping as well. Now a good half of this stamping will be covered by the front panel, but I want the flowers to look like they're continuous down the outside of where the panel's going to sit. When I come to do the left hand side, I'm going to do the flowers in a different order just so that it looks different and it's not repeated on both sides, if you know what I mean. So just randomize it, just fit them in as best you can, and you can use any set and do any flower set with this. Just use an outline stamp. It is pretty versatile design of a card. The next thing I'm going to do is stamp the flowers that I want on my front panel. So I'm going to stamp one of the single flowers out of the set first. And then also stamp it on a piece of post-it. cut out the base of the flower and stick that down onto the stamping I've already done. And then I can stamp the 2-part flower out of the set just over the base of that, and then when I peel the masking off it'll look like it's behind and the other flowers in the front. I've gone ahead and coloured in the flowers with Copic alcohol inks. I haven't shown you how I coloured them in with this video. Now I could have cut the panel out at the edge of each of the flowers, but it was going to make the panel quite wide and I wasn't going to see any of the stamping that I've already done on my card base. So what I'm going to do is cut above and below the flowers slightly further in, and stop at when I get to the flowers, and then I'll go around and fussy cut just around the edge of those on both sides so that I've got the flowers overhanging my card panel, if that makes sense. The next thing I'm going to do is back it with some red card that ties in with the flower colour. If I had have left that off it would have been a bit lost in the background, so the red just along the two edges makes it really pop off the card. And I'm also going to do a little bit of trim with black, but I'll show you that shortly. So I'm going to just measure the panel onto the red card and work out how much I want showing either side, and then trim that. Now a little trick that I learnt off of watching Jennifer Maguire's videos on YouTube. Instead of backing the whole panel with some black and then the red panel, what you can do is just cut out a really thin strip, or a couple of really thin strips of the black card, which I just want just a little pencil line down either side of the white front panel, and then once you've glued the front panel onto the red, which I use my Gina K dot adhesive roller, you could just go down the edge with a little thin bead of glue and stick the strip down. But I was lucky enough to find a piece of card that I already had some double-sided stick-it tape down on the back, so I just trim that out, and then I've already got an adhesive that I can stick it down right next to the edge of the white card, making sure that I put the black card strip just in behind the flower and not over the top. I can then go back and trim any of the overhang from the back, top and bottom, and then the panel's ready to stick down onto the card base. For this sentiment I've decided to stamp a stamp out of the Simon Says stamp Wishing and Sending, and it says "You the happiest birthday," and I'm going to use the coordinating wishing die. I'm going to cut it out from black card, about 3 layers, and glue them one on top of the other just to give a little bit of thickness to it, and then I'll stick that down underneath the flower, and then the banner, the second sentiment I've cut into a banner, and I'll stick that just underneath the die cut. For gluing the sentiment die parts together, I use this new glue that I've got, Gina K Connect glue, and it's a really strong glue, but it's got a lovely fine tip on the end, and you hold it a bit like a pen, so I think it's a great little glue pen. I really like the difference the little black strips have made along the edge of the front panel. I think it ties the sentiment in with the side stamping of the two borders left and right, so I really like how this card has turned out. You really could use any stamps that you had to do this, and even any sentiment that you have, so it's quite a versatile design. Hope you enjoyed it. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and then I'll see you next time. Bye for now.